So, you want to start an online business or legitimize the one that you've already got, but you just wish somebody would hand you a checklist, walk you through it, and you just like pop out on the other side with a perfectly formed, protected, and legit business. But all that legal stuff has given you a headache and put you into a tailspin, not knowing where to start. But you know it's important, so it's keeping you from moving forward. Well, in this episode, you're about to hear a replay of my live legal training called 5 Steps to Legally Protect and Grow Your Online Business. I just got done hosting it for almost 8,000 people, and I want to make sure that you don't miss this. So I popped it into an episode today, and I'm serving it up so that you can get all your legal ish in order and get your online business started today. So, with that, kick back, relax, enjoy this replay of my live legal training. And at the end, you'll hear me share a little bit more about how the Ultimate Bundle, my signature program that gives you over 14 DIY legal templates, 35 on demand video trainings teaching you everything you need to know about how to start an online business legally, is on sale until this Friday, October 24th only. Whether you need the Ultimate Bundle or not, this training is crucial for you to listen to if you want to make sure that you do the online business stuff the right way. I've got you covered in this training with your step-by-step, easy, handy checklist. We will knock this stuff out together in the next 90 minutes. And if you want to join the Ultimate Bundle while it's on sale, make sure you click the link down in the show notes and join us before Friday, October 24th when the sale ends. Enjoy! Welcome to 5 Steps to Legally Protect and Grow Your Online Business before 2025 ends. Such a big reason about why I do this workshop is because this stuff is so easy, you guys. You're going to get this done. You're going to be able to actually start a business or protect the one that you've got. Sound good? Sounds hopefully like what you're here for? Yeah, me too. Now, I have a quick favor to ask. If you're anything like me, you probably have about 14 tabs open at any given time. I really want to encourage you that you've taken this time. Give yourself the time. Like don't make it even harder, right? Just get this done. Be here, be focused. Grab something cozy to drink. Turn on Do Not Disturb if you can. Let's just get focused. All right? Yeah, I'm with you. You're also going to want to stick around all the way till the end of today's very valuable training because I'm going to show you something I've actually never done before. I'm going to show you how to get an extra $100 off of the Ultimate Bundle, access to 3 additional bonus templates, and be able to join a live support call with me for free. So you're going to want to stick around all the way till the end. All right. Now, although I am an attorney, I was a corporate lawyer. You'll hear about that in a second. I don't practice law. I have not since 2017, 2016. And that means that I don't give legal advice or establish an attorney-client relationship with you. What does that mean for you? Well, this workshop is educational and informational only. It is not meant to be legal advice. It's not meant to be a substitute for seeking advice from your own attorney. Okay, so I can clarify when we talk in the Q&A. I can teach you, I can share information, but I can't tell you what you should do with your life savings and how to start a trust and all that kind of stuff. Okay, I want to make sure you showed up to the right workshop. So I'm going to need you to drop a yes in the comments in a second if any of these sound like you. All right. You're in the right place if you're type A, probably a little like me, about to start a business and you want all your T's crossed and all your I's dotted before you do it. Oh boy, I'm seeing lots and lots of yeses. Okay, I'm right there with you. I got it. You're also in the right place if you've been Googling answers to legal questions and the answers you're finding are just like freaking you out even more than what you started to look up. Is that you? Yeah, I see Lynn's like, oh my God, yes. Or you wish you could get the legal piece taken care of so that you could just focus on doing the work you love. Like maybe it's not that overwhelming. You're not really that freaked out about it. You also just want to get it over with, right? It's like how sometimes people feel about going to the gym, right? You're also in the right place if you're about to start a new business or you already got a business and you're just like, I don't know what I don't know about the legal stuff. And you're just the type of person who wants to make sure that you do it right from the start so you just don't accidentally do something wrong. Is that you? Yes, exactly. Okay, I can see you. Check. I'm with you. Okay. Or you might be here, as many of my customers are, because your business is growing, like maybe you started something, you thought it was a side hustle, but now it kind of took off, and you want to make sure it's legit because knowing that you're not protected is the thing that's holding you back from showing up and talking about your business more freely. Now, you're also in the right place if you run or plan to run basically an online business of nearly any kind, whether you're selling e-commerce products like on Etsy or your own website, you're a course creator, a coach of literally any variety, health, wellness, career, money, life, self-care, whatever you can think of. If you're a service provider of any kind, maybe an RD, a nutritionist, a YouTuber, a blogger, a content creator, literally anybody with an online business. And I also want to include you if you are somebody who has a business that maybe does some in-person stuff, but you also do some online stuff, or you have an in-person business and you're considering starting or transitioning it into a virtual business. So this is the perfect workshop for you. All right. Now, you're not in the right place very quickly if you're looking for a way to skirt the laws in any way, or you're already here and you're like, I'm 100% confident that I have every single thing legal in place and I don't need any of it. Then you don't need to be here, right? If you're that confident and you can sleep well at night, no need. Or if you're just here because you're looking for a lawyer to actually hire to like do legal services for you, not for me, right? Not what I do. You're also not in the right place if you're going to get annoyed when I invite you to my paid program, the Ultimate Bundle, at the end of today's training. So, can you give me a yes if it's cool in the comments that I'm going to teach you like an hours long of really, really valuable legal information, stuff that you would have to pay thousands and thousands of dollars to an attorney to that they don't even understand because they don't understand online business. And then I'm going to share about the Ultimate Bundle if it's the right fit for you and if it's the right fit for me. You will get to know me during this training. If you're new to me, I do not push this on anybody. I want you to come here and to learn first and foremost. And if it's what you need, then great. If not, that is okay too. That is okay too. So cool. Okay. Thank you so much. I really, really appreciate it. Then let's do it. Since so many of you told me that I'm new to your world, I'm Sam Vander Wielen. Yes, my last name, Vander Wielen. That's how you say it. It's not mine, it's my husband's. I'm an attorney turned entrepreneur. I was a corporate litigator for about 5 years when I left in 2016 to start my own online health coaching company. I wanted to teach people how to cook because that is what I like to do. So even though that's what I set out to do, apparently the universe had other plans for me because as much as I was online trying to sling my cooking services, my online phone rang off the hook with questions for me about legal stuff for online businesses. And I'm like, why are you guys asking me this? This is not what I'm doing anymore. So in early 2017, I shut down that health coaching business and I launched Sam Vanderwillen LLC to help people online like you today learn how to legally protect their businesses. And since 2017, I've become a leading legal educator specifically focused on helping online business owners. I've helped over 350,000 online business owners learn how to get paid, get legit contracts in place, form their businesses, and protect their content from online copycats. I've been featured in a lot of places. I just got to speak at Kit's Craft and Commerce. I was featured in Forbes this year after my book came out. I just published my first book with a big five publishing house called When I Start My Business, I'll Be Happy. So yes, it's been a very, very big year. And I've been around doing this for a long time. I also am the host of On Your Terms, my podcast. As I said, I'm the author of When I Start My Business, I'll Be Happy. And I'm very proud to share that I got a big five book deal while running a multi seven figure legal business, losing both of my parents in the same year and trying to be a good dog mom to my Bernedoodle Hudson. I'm also very grateful that some very kind and famous people here on the right have said some very kind things about me and about the book and all of the things that I've gotten to do over the last 8 years. So yeah, basically, I've been around. I've been doing this. I have an email list of over 55,000 people, and I write about legal stuff, everybody. Come on, okay? So I feel really, really passionately. If you're going to get to know me and you're going to be in my community, you're going to learn real quick that as much as I talk about the legal stuff, I feel so passionately about helping you build a business that allows you to be as present in your lives, as profitable in your businesses, Part of that is the legal stuff, because part of it is getting that stuff in place so that you can sleep. And then the other stuff, like emails and everything, I'll teach you once you're in my community. All right. Sound good? All right. So let's do it. When I started my online business, remember I said I had that coaching business teaching people how to cook? I almost had a heart attack. I saw all kinds of shenanigans online. I saw copy and pasted policies that people were stealing, borrowing from one another. I saw people not setting up online businesses the right way. I saw contracts that people were using from a friend, but yet they had no clue what they said, and the contracts themselves were horrible. And every day now, you're in my DMs, in my inbox, asking me, like, what about AI? How do I protect my content from getting ripped off on there? How do I protect my content from getting ripped off from copycats? Somebody just bought my online course, and I know that it's only because they're inspired by me and they want to do the same thing. And what do my contracts really need to say in order to actually protect me? Do I really need an LLC now or can I wait? Right? These are all things that I know you're all asking about. So I knew that it was urgent that I got into online business and that I started helping you set up your business the right way, getting contracts that are actually covering you in the online space, like doing the thing that you're actually doing here online, and teaching you how to confidently operate an online business legally that can also grow. Yes, the legal stuff can actually help you grow your business because you're going to feel more confident to actually start talking about it more, which is how you grow your business, right? So, if you want to focus on doing what you love, which is, I imagine, what you're here to learn, you probably love the thing you create or the service that you provide. You love working with your clients and your customers. You need the relief that comes with being legally up to snuff, as I say, right? So, with that, you have to know that there is this moment that I just have to tell you about real quick before we get into the content of today's workshop, because it teaches you a really powerful lesson. It's one of the worst moments that I ever had as an entrepreneur. Now, let me paint the picture for you. I was sitting in WeWork in Philadelphia, where I'm from, and I was on in a meeting about SEO, search engine optimization, right? So it's like how you show up in Google, something I've always taken really seriously in my business. And my SEO contractor at the time, Melissa, she said, you're getting all of this traffic from this one website called XYZ, right? Yes, go birds. And so she said, I'm getting all this traffic. And it was kind of a catchy name. So I was like, oh, let me go type this in, because I actually assumed it was a business coach who was sending me a lot of, a lot of clients, and I wanted to thank them. That happens a lot. I'm mentioned in lots of people's groups. So I type in the URL, and I really didn't think anything of it. And then imagine my shock and surprise and freak out when the website pops up and it is literally my website with my customer testimonials, my clients' pictures with their testimonial, with the word Sam, my name, swapped out for this person's name. Let's just say it was Lauren. It wasn't, but let's just say it was Lauren. It would just like sub Sam for Lauren. All of my products descriptions, right? Like all the things, all hundreds. I have over 1,000 blog posts, everybody. I have blog posts, podcast episodes, everything you can imagine. This person had deliberately stolen my entire website, really my entire business. Can you believe that? Yeah. There was even a link and a call to action encouraging people to join my very own Facebook community, something I had at the time. It was popular then. And they didn't even bother to change the URL. So it was literally sending traffic to my Facebook group. It turns out that another lawyer who was trying to start an online legal templates business stole my entire website. Now, when this happened, very quickly, I was freaking out, I was crying, very upset, but my attorney pants kicked in pretty quickly and I got to work, right? I took the website down, I got a cease and desist letter out the door, all of these things, all things I turned into trainings, by the way, that they're all now included in the ultimate bundle. But I was able to handle it, because I'm a lawyer. So I know what you're thinking. You're like, well, you're an attorney. So you knew what to do, but how would I know what to do? Right? Like, is anyone else here thinking that? That's what I would be thinking if I was in this workshop. In that moment, it became very clear to me that this is my mission. It is my mission to teach you how to legally protect your business so that you never have to feel what I felt in that moment, but not know what to do about it. Because I know how horrible it felt in that moment to experience that. But the fact that I knew what to do about it and could very quickly and easily, like with my eyes closed, get it taken care of is a very different situation than what you would be in, right? Like, you would be sitting there, you'd be freaking out, rightfully so, and then you would be like, oh my god, what do I do? I don't even know. Who do you call? Can you call the cops? Like, what do you do, right? Isn't that what you would be doing? That's what I would be doing before I became a lawyer. So, that is why I'm here. I am here to help make sure that that moment never happens for you. I will make sure that moment never happens for you. And this stuff definitely doesn't just happen to me. Annie, one of my Ultimate Bundle customers, Annie Miller, she was done with clients pushing boundaries, asking for refunds, and worrying that they were getting inspired by her content. And that's why they were buying her course, right? Chloe from Deeper Than Money, she had grown her money coaching business so quickly, but then realized that she wasn't confident that what she built was protected. Can you relate to Annie or Chloe yet? And Christina Gabalto, she watched somebody that she was actually friends with buy her online course, steal parts of it, and turn around and create and launch one of her own. Exactly the same, literally word for word copied her. These are all real situations that have not only happened to my customers and friends, but maybe tell me yes in the comments if so. Maybe you are here because you're worried about some of this happening to you too, right? I know that I was. Yeah, for sure. Thanks, Sam. Yes, Lisa. So I was definitely worried about this happening, and it still happens all the time. Honestly, copycats are only the beginning of what you like should be worried about or being the copycat. Something I talk a lot about is like making sure you don't accidentally inappropriately use someone's content, not on purpose, but by accident. Luckily for you, there are 5 steps that I'm going to teach you today that will help you build a business that's legally compliant because we need to make sure you have your stuff in order. And this is just what you must know. You cannot afford to skip these 5 steps. These are not maybes or I'll get around to it when I feel like it. These are things that are either legally required or smartly required because you're not going to be protected if you don't have them. I don't waste your time with anything that you don't have to do. All right, let's hop in to step number 1. Step number 1 is that you have to know when the right time is to legally protect your business, right? Step number 2 is that we're going to learn how to register the right business entity and start acting like it to protect your personal assets. So step number 2 is really important even for those of you who are already here with an LLC already. If you have an LLC, there are major mistakes, major missteps that people with LLCs make all the time with online businesses that leaves them unprotected. So I'm going to make sure, okay? Step number 3, we're going to talk about getting this one thing in place right now and never having to worry about getting sued again. Step 4, we'll talk about getting the right contracts in place so they actually say what you need to protect them. And step 5, we'll talk about staying in bounds, only selling and teaching and talking about what's legally allowed based on you and what you do. So, how would your life change? Tell me in the chat. How would your life change if you knew your content and your business were legally protected? I want some specific examples here. So I'm going to keep my eyes peeled for some stuff. So Brittany says you'd have more confidence, right? And Brittany, I'm assuming if you had more confidence, you could talk about your business more, which means it would grow. Right? Yeah, I see a lot like Paul and Constance are saying they would sleep well at night. Nicole would have relief, peace of mind, stress, relief, be able to breathe more. Exactly. Start pitching so you could actually get your stuff out there. Omar, you'd be respected. Omar, you wouldn't believe how true that is that clients can smell when you don't have your legal stuff in order and they don't like it. Yeah. Okay, cool. Absolutely. Thank you for sharing that. So, how fantastic would it feel to have the confidence that the legal stuff was just taken care of? Like, what could you focus on instead if you didn't have to worry about any of this stuff, right? What would you be able to do? Would you be able to work with your clients more, create more content, design? Brianna said making a baby. That's great. Davis could focus on their clients, doing more business more seriously, Mary said. I love that. Focusing on product development. Yes, moving forward without fear. I love these. So then you're probably wondering, okay, sounds good. I want more of that. Well, then let's do it. Step number one is knowing when the right time is to actually protect your business. So I have a little story for you. I love to work out. I just did a high rocks competition last year. I'm hoping to do another one next year. And so I had been training to do a pull up at the gym, right? And I work out pretty much every day. And I was thinking in my mind that I had this goal to do a pull up. And my idea was that I was going to do a pull up once I could do a pull up. Hopefully, you already see where I'm going with this. Pull-ups weren't just going to happen. I had to start taking steps and actually trying them. The way that you get to do a pull-up is by starting to do pull-ups first with the band or like the pull-up assisted machine, all that kind of stuff, but working in all the micro movements, that's how you get to do a pull-up. What I see so often is that people will say, like, I'm going to legally protect my business once it's successful, but then they never get the business successful because they haven't legally protected it. So, do you see where I'm going with this with the pull up example? The time you should think about legal protection for your online business is the moment that you decide to start one. Or if you're here because you already started one, then it's the moment that you decided to start taking it seriously. We have to stop believing that this might not work out or that this thing is just a little thing. It's a little side thing. It's a little side business, right? And we have to start planning for it to work out. Can you give me a plan in the comments if you're like, yes, I'm going to start planning for this to work out? Yes. Thank you. Thank you, Eva. Thank you, Paul. Rochelle. Thank you. Yes, we're going to plan for this to work out. We're going to pay attention starting today to how you talk about your business. Do you call it little? Do you dismiss it? Do you try to get out of talking about it? Do you downplay it, right? If you keep doing that to it, it will stay small and downplayed and hidden and not work out, right? Let's start planning for it to work out. Your thoughts impact your actions because what you say ultimately ends up impacting what you're doing. You really need to act like the business you envision in order for it to become your reality. So, when it comes to legally protecting your business, you want to think about protecting what you're building, not necessarily what you have now. Is this a big, like, aha moment for any of you who are here? Because so many people come to me and they're like, I'm not ready yet because the business isn't big enough yet. It's like, yeah, the business is going to get there. We're working on it. But this is part of how the business gets there. We take it seriously, we honor it, we respect it, right? Somebody said earlier in the chat about how they would feel more respected. Absolutely, right? So we downplay it. We do all this stuff to keep it small. It will stay small, right? Now, Caitlin, a copywriter, it turned coach for freelance copywriters, she refused to take on coaching clients until her copywriting business was legally sound. And she used my ultimate bundle to get legal and made $29,000 from coaching and $32,000 from selling an online course in 1 year. Just after she said, like, yes. And obviously I am very well aware of the fact that this is also because people put in a lot of hard work. Caitlin is incredible at what she does, right? It's not like the legal stuff just makes it happen. It's legal stuff plus you taking action. That is what it is, right? This is what happens. In other words, Caitlin future proofed her business, right? So when you think about where you're headed, where your business is going to be 6 months from now, a year from now, that kind of business needs legal protection, right? Give me a yes in the comments if that's true, right? The business that you are building needs legal protection. So I want you to dismiss that thing that you came in here with that was like, I don't need legal protection yet because my business right now, as it stands today, is teensy tiny. Well, your business as it stands now should not be the business that you have in 6 months or a year from now. And that's what we're building. So let's stop focusing on what we have at the moment and let's start working towards where we're headed. Thank you, Shirley. Okay. So, in fact, I would actually argue, I am a lawyer, so I can make good arguments. But in fact, I would argue that getting this legal stuff in place, setting the foundation for your business is what will help you to get there. How? Well, there are immediate benefits to getting legal stuff in order. These are some of the things you're going to see from getting your legal stuff together. Okay. So when it gets hard or annoying or frustrating, I want you to keep this in mind. You're going to look and be professional. Remember, Omar said it's going to make you seem more legit. That is so true. People can tell when you don't have legal protection. They can tell, like, I'm not really sure if I want to hand my credit card over to this person. What if they don't show up, right? All that kind of stuff. So true. You're going to get paid on time because you have no way to actually enforce payment or get paid on time if you don't get legal stuff in place. You're going to protect your content, set clear boundaries, and attract and work with the right clients. If getting legal stuff in place freaks you out because you're afraid you're going to chase people away, do not fret, because the only people you're going to chase away are people who never intended to pay you. The people who are going to stick around and work with you are the people who wanted to actually work with you and intended to pay you. Yeah. So Liz said, I feel a huge weight lifted off my shoulders knowing that I'm protecting myself and fine tuning my scope of practice with my online course. I didn't realize how much it was holding me back until now. So many people hold back on putting out a product or even putting out the business because they don't have legal stuff in place. All right, now who's ready to talk about registering your business? This is where we're going to talk about LLCs, sole proprietorships. This is where I was saying it's really important. Even if you have an LLC, I need you to pay attention. All right, let's talk about how registering the right business entity and start acting like no one, like an LLC, to protect your personal assets. That's really the goal of forming your business. So when we talk about forming your business, we form businesses for two major reasons. We form businesses, register our businesses. It's the same thing. To start to capture business expenses. That's one huge part. And then the other part is to protect you personally. We don't want you personally, you, Mary, you, Corey, you, Analia, to be responsible, liable, right, for what happens as a result of your business or anything in your business. We don't want you personally to be responsible financially or legally, right? We don't want banks to be able to come after your house, your bank account, your car, your boat, whatever you have, right? So we want to separate you from your business so that if and when something is a problem, only the business's assets are at risk. Does this make sense? So our goal, what we call it in legal language, is personal liability protection. So this is when you personally are not liable for the actions of your business. That's really the goal. So in order to register your business, you register your business in the state where you live and work, right? So although some people will teach you how to register businesses in other states, no one will really teach you that. You'd have to go to your own attorney to have that done. It's not something I recommend, nor do I cover it, because something that a lot of people don't know is that you need to register your business in the state where you're actually performing the work, and you need to pay taxes where you actually live. So it's a lot of work for a business that's just starting out. If you build a really, really big business, maybe it's something you want to go down that path. But otherwise, if you want to explore that at this point, I would highly recommend talking to a lawyer. So when you go to register a business, you do so in the state where you live and work by choosing a business entity type. So there are some examples like an LLC, a corporation, a sole proprietorship, a partnership, etc. And you follow step by step the steps that you need to take to file that thing. So if you're going to file an LLC in New Jersey, you would take the steps to file the two different forms, pay the fee, and bada bing, bada boom, you have an LLC, right? So it's a very simple step by step process in every state. In every state, no matter where you live, there are forms that are required, there are fees that need to be paid, paperwork that needs to be submitted, all of that kind of stuff. And once you do that, you get back from the state official documentation saying that your business has been registered. And hurrah, your business has been registered. So typically that is like the first thing that you do, in addition to maybe getting an EIN number for free from the IRS. You would take those two pieces of paper and you go to a bank and you open a business bank account. But the question comes out always, and I know so many of you submitted questions ahead of time. Is anybody here who I sent back a video to on Video Ask? You sent me videos, and so many people, yes, okay, good. So many people, did you like the videos, by the way? They were fun to do. So many people asked about LLCs and is it time and what do they need to do and all of that kind of stuff, right? So most of the time, when you're starting an online business, the two different types of entities that you're choosing between are a sole proprietorship and an LLC. So let's go over those. All right. A sole proprietorship is the most basic one. It's like your entry level type. It's one type of business entity that a lot of solo entrepreneurs start with. It can only ever be owned by one person. So if you have a business partner, you can't do that. right? The really, really important thing that you need to know about it though is that it offers zero personal liability protection. So remember that I said at the top, if you're registering a business, the point of this is to both capture business expenses, but also to protect you personally. Well, with a sole proprietorship, you get the business expenses part. That's good. But you don't get personally protected at all, which means you are 100% legally liable for anything that happens in your business. If your business gets sued and you don't have the money to pay for it, the lawsuit, they can come after your house, they can come after your bank accounts, they can come after anything that your name is even attached to, like a joint bank account, anything like that. Now, Brittany asked a very good question. Why would anybody start out with a sole proprietorship? What's the benefit? Well, the benefit is that in some states it's much cheaper, and I don't want to even say faster. I mean, the time component is usually very slim. The major states like California, for example, it is not more flexible. That is not true. It is not more flexible. There's nothing inflexible about an LLC, nothing that can't easily be handled, but it is a little bit cheaper depending on where it's a little bit cheaper in every single state. It's a lot a bit cheaper depending on which state you live in, like maybe California. Now, the thing is, though, that it offers you zero liability protection. So it's not a very good trade off depending on what kind of business you're starting, right? So any of your personal assets can be fair game. That's what makes it not a great option for a lot of people. Some people might have started it back in the day who were like bloggers or content creators who maybe weren't talking about anything that's very risky. And people who aren't selling anything, have no intention of ever selling anything, maybe. But the thing that doesn't sit right with me is that, at least in America, you can get sued even just for talking in free content, right? So teaching free content, if you give a suggestion to do something and somebody takes it and it goes poorly for them, they can sue you for that. So it doesn't have to be just that you've worked with clients or anything like that. So for me, it's not really a great option. Yes, Lauren, great question. You can go from sole proprietorship to an LLC. I call it an upgrade, but most states call it a conversion. We'll talk about that in a sec. But an LLC is one of the other kinds of business entities. Stands for limited liability company. And you can own an LLC by yourself or with business partners. Okay. So you can just own an LLC by yourself. That's how I started out, totally by yourself. And an LLC offers you what's called limited personal liability protection. So, with an LLC, theoretically, you are afforded protection from whatever happens in your business. Now, some states don't look as favorably upon what we call single member LLCs, like when you own one by yourself. And in other cases, it's that you yourself, the people who own LLCs, don't actually act like LLCs. So then they don't get the protection that they think they have. That's what I mentioned earlier. And so that's why I was saying earlier, like it's really important if you have an LLC that you make sure you actually act like it, right? So now with an LLC, that in theory, only the company's assets are fair game. So if something happens, your business gets sued, only the company's assets are fair game. Now, when you have an LLC, everything that you do in your business is between your LLC and your client, or the LLC and the customer, right? The purchaser. That's what I was talking about. What for those of you who already have an LLC, this is all the stuff that you need to do to make sure you're actually, acting right. So, when you have an LLC, you need to have your contracts, for example, be between your LLC and your client. You need to have website policies that are between your LLC and the viewer of your website. You need to have an insurance policy that's in the name of your LLC, and then you are added as an additional insured. All of your transactions have to be from your LLC's account. So, like, you set up a business bank account and you set up a PayPal or a Stripe account in your LLC's name, and all of the transactions are going through there, right? The charges are going through there. When people then pay you money for your product or your service, that money has to flow into your business bank account. You cannot have commingled funds. You cannot have a personal account that you're using for business money and personal money. It has to be completely separate, and the money from your business has to just flow into your business bank account. Okay. So, by building a barrier between you personally and your business. You are maintaining that personal liability protection that the LLC entitles to you to, right? You need to have clean, organized, clear financial records like bookkeeping software, for example. You need to have those contracts in your LLC's name. You need to know how to actually sign your contracts correctly in the name of your business. All of these things. Very important, very important. Now, as I said, having an LLC is not the end of the legal story. You need to act like an LLC and maintain that personal and business separation very carefully and in an organized manner, right? So that personal and business money has to be separate, contracts in the name of the LLC, detailed and clean records. And you have to make it clear you're an LLC, meaning if you have a business name and it has LLC in it, that better be written everywhere that your business appears, like you see here on the bottom of my screen, right? And that's what you have to have in place unless you file for what's called a DBA. Yeah. Megan, very, very good question. What about a few expenses that were incurred prior to forming an LLC and getting a business bank account? Great question, Megan, because this is also going to come up a lot at the end when I talk about the bundle. You can capture business expenses that you incur prior to forming your business. So if you have to charge those to a personal credit card or use a personal account to like, you're automatically going to have business expenses like your LLC expense, for example, or maybe buying a domain name, maybe getting the ultimate bundle. A lot of people do that in order to set up their business. So you can absolutely pay for that with whatever personal funds you have, keep the receipts, and then you will capture that and be able to count that as a business deduction, okay, in the future. Do you hear me? Everybody hears that loud and clear because I get this question like 3,000 times at the end. Yes. So you can incur business expenses that are able to be deducted as business expenses down the line. Just make sure you keep good receipts, keep track of it. The point is, once you actually get your business stuff set up, that's when we want to start only using it. Yes. I saw Noah said about, can you add personal money to your business bank account to get started? Yes, that's called a capital contribution. And so you want to talk to your accountant about that, but that's often how most people start. I can't believe this, but I actually started this business with $100 in a bank account, and I just can't believe that. So yeah, step number 3, let's talk about it. Let's get this one thing in place now so that you never have to worry about getting sued again. Does anybody feel like excited for that idea? I know I am. Okay. This is where we're going to talk about business insurance. So many of you contacted me ahead of time to ask me questions about business insurance. Business insurance is what financially protects you in a lawsuit because it provides you with a lawyer, pays the lawyer's bill, and then pays for a settlement or judgment that's found against you. So business insurance is what financially protects your business in the event of a lawsuit. What kind of business insurance do you need? Well, there are many, many different kinds of business insurance. And which one you need depends on what you do, how you do it, how much coverage you want, etc. So there are many different kinds, but we're going to talk about the main ones. Most popular types, all right? These are the most popular types of business insurance. The first is called professional liability insurance, otherwise known as errors and omissions insurance, E&O. Sometimes people will kind of commonly refer to it as malpractice insurance. Unless you're like a doctor or lawyer, it's professional liability insurance. Professional liability insurance is the one that you get that covers mistakes in your services and offers. So this is going to be for you if you're like the coaches, the service providers, the copywriters, all of these kinds of people. Professional liability insurance is typically the kind of insurance that you need. One other kind of business insurance that sometimes people also need is commercial general liability insurance. That one covers bodily injury and property damage to someone else. It can also cover things like libel and slander, like when you say things bad about somebody else and you get sued for it. There are like a dozen different kinds of business insurance, and there may be other kinds of insurance that you need. But I think what's really important for today's purpose is understanding, hopefully you came here maybe not knowing what business insurance does or how it worked. And hopefully now you're like, oh, okay, I get it. But now I wanted you to know what it is and then what the two main types are that you might ask about in the future. Um, So now Emily brought up a very good question. A lot of people will ask me, do I need an LLC and business insurance, or is it like one or the other? They do very, very different things. So this is a good time for us to just like recap. The LLC is what makes you personally not liable for what happens in your business. But in a worst case scenario, let's say your business then got sued, right? So you have an LLC. So you, Emily, are not personally responsible, but then your business is liable for what happens, right? Can your business sustain hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars for a lawsuit? Probably not. So business insurance is then what steps in and financially takes care of your business because it provides you with a lawyer, it pays for that lawyer, and then it would pay for the settlement or judgment found against your business. Sometimes even you personally are named in a lawsuit because you own the company. And in many cases, the business insurance will often provide you with that coverage, right? So it's really, really important. They're very, very different. Emily's also asking, like, can't you file for bankruptcy? I mean, sure, but there are a lot of downsides to that. It's not as easy as it sounds, despite the fact that a lot of people have like manipulated and abused it. So yeah, a lot of people stack these different kinds of insurance. I have both of these plus like five others at this point, but that's because my business now has generated multi eight figures of revenue, and so I didn't have all that when I started. I just started with this, right? Just something basic, so basic. All right. Now, let's do a quick fact check. This is so important because a lot of people don't know. Tell me if you're one of them. That legal protection only works from now moving forward. So you don't get backdated protection for stuff that you've already done. So if you wait for a year to get like an LLC or you wait for a year to get business insurance, it's not going to cover anything you did 6 months ago. And remember, we're talking about free content, all kinds of things that you're doing online. None of that would be covered, right? So it's only from now moving forward. That's why we want to get stuff in place. Brenna asked, does professional liability cover content? It depends on the policy that you find. You also want to talk to your business insurance agent about content, what type of content you have. Like I have a podcast, I have all this different stuff. So you want to talk to them about that. That's something we talk about in the bundle a lot because this has changed a lot, as people have, like there's different content channels, people have TikTok accounts, all kinds of stuff. Okay, let's talk about step number 4. Let's talk contracts. We need to get the right contracts in place so that they actually say what they need to say to protect you. Now, attorney prepared contracts and policies prevent the wrong kind of people from working with you in the first place. These are the people who never intended to pay you or anything like that, right? Contracts are what set clear boundaries. I know somebody said in the chat earlier, like about how important it is with boundaries with clients. Yes, 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 times a million, because I have helped hundreds of thousands of people legally protect their businesses. And what I can tell you is the most common is not getting sued, is not lawsuits flying around. It's people not paying your bills, not paying your invoice, and people pushing and abusing your boundaries. Those two things are the most, and I would say copying your content. Those are probably the three most common things that I see in this industry. So contracts can help to set that clear boundary by preventing awkward conversations, for example, putting you in a position where you have to create rules on the fly, or not knowing, like, how do you navigate something if somebody asks you for a refund and now you have to decide. It puts you in a bad spot. If you add that in your contract, then you wouldn't have to worry about it. It also helps that it lays out the terms of your work together, and it makes it in a, like, if you get a good contract, it's just a really easy to read contract that's specific to what you do, that makes both of you feel comfortable and confident that what you say you're delivering, and what the client says that they're going to like pay and do is good too, right? Like that's really all we want. Now, which contract do you need depending on what you do, right? If you offer coaching services or any sort of services really online, you can use a client contract, for example. If you're going to do like a group program or a mastermind, you would use a group program contract. If you sell memberships, a digital product, or you're going to create an online course, you would use my terms of use template, right? Those are for courses and memberships and digital products. If you're going to offer an affiliate program, you would have an affiliate agreement. If you had a shop policy, I just want to go back for a sec. If you are selling on Etsy or you're selling e-commerce stuff on your website, like a Shopify account, you would use my shop policy template, right? It's not up here, but that's the one that I offer. It's the ones in the bundle. Now, you also need three website policies. So, when you're operating online, for one, you're legally required to have a privacy policy on your website if you are talking about, or if I'm sorry, if you are collecting personal information. That can be something as easy as a first name and an email address. Bada bing, you are collecting personal information. You are now legally required by both the federal government and even states like California, even if you don't live in California, even if you've never been to California, because people from California can visit your website, you are legally required to have a privacy policy. So, you also need website terms and conditions. You also need a website disclaimer. So, let me go over these real quickly in turn. Number one, website terms and conditions. It's really like the rules of the road for your website. So, this is where you're laying out like what your return policy is depending on what you do, and like what your content sharing policy is. Your intellectual property statement is in your terms and conditions. Your content resharing policy is in your terms. These are all things that would be in your T's and C's. For number two, your website disclaimer. This is the one that all of you need who are here, who are doing content online, and who are coaches and service providers, because your content, your website disclaimer is where you're going to tell people that this is who you are and what you do, and this is who you're not and what you don't do, and all that kind of stuff. That's in your website disclaimer. Your website policy is the one I was saying was legally required, and that's really telling people how you use their personal information when you collect it, where you're collecting their personal information, what you're doing with it, how they can get rid of it, how they can edit it, make you delete it, etc. How you're keeping it safe, all that. Now, don't worry that this feels like a lot. I have all of this covered for you, so don't worry about it. You shouldn't have to write all of these. These are really standard legal policies. I've got you all covered, and I'll talk about what these are all included in the Ultimate Bundle, every single thing you've seen, as well as a cookie policy that is all included in the bundle. So I'll talk about that later. Okay, now I went through all these terms and conditions, as I said, is on your site. Website disclaimer also for your website, telling people who you are and what you do, and then your privacy policy for covering how you're collecting people's personal info. All right. Now, contracts are the written proof that you're absolutely going to need if you want to get paid on time, if you want to defend yourself, if you're accused of doing or not doing something by a client, and even to set clear boundaries with your clients when they ask for something that wasn't promised at the outset. Yes, Lily, I did mention personal intellectual property protection. That language is all included in those website policy templates. If it's just on your website, that's included in the terms and conditions. If you were, protecting the intellectual property of like your course, for example, that would be included in the terms of use contract that you include at checkout. So yeah, that's all in there. Very much so. Okay. And then more than anything, we want to make sure that your contracts are actually enforceable, because that's the key. Like a lot of times, the difference, everybody, with getting like cruddy contracts that you find online that aren't very good, or that you like paste together all of your, that paste together like all your own stuff, or you get a freebie online or try ChatGPT or something like that. The point is that they're probably not enforceable because they don't have all the key legal provisions in them that you need for it actually to, hold up in court. So at the end of the day, we don't just want you to have a contract. We need you to have a contract that's actually enforceable, that actually holds up. Yeah, I don't teach people how to write contracts. I just give you contract templates that take you 15 minutes or less to fill in the blanks. Super easy. So you don't need to write contracts. You should not be writing contracts. They're too long and boring. Yeah. So that's what I do. Yeah, Katie, that might be possible. Sometimes people do need a business attorney. If you want to, we can talk about that at the end of like when that's helpful. A lot of people use my stuff and then work with an attorney on the side when they need it, like in case of an emergency or something, all that kind of stuff. Yeah. So let's do it. Let's talk about step number 5, scope of practice. So many of you asked me in those questions you submitted ahead of time about scope of practice and making sure you're legally allowed to talk about what you talk about. So let's talk about how to stay in bounds and only sell and teach and talk about what you're legally allowed to do. Okay, so scope of practice. Scope of practice is what you can and can't do, teach, talk about, sell, etc., based on how you're qualified educated, certified, or licensed, depending on what you do. Now, every state controls its definitions of who can do what in that state. So they will define, what does a doctor need to do to become a doctor in that state? And then, like, what can only a doctor do? What is the practice of medicine, et cetera. So that's really, really important, okay? That every state can be different. And then if your state doesn't define exactly what you do, what I then recommend is going to look at what I call your hover professions, kind of like your umbrella professions that are around you depending on what you do. Let me go back for a sec. So let me give an example. If you are here because you're a health coach, for example, we need to make sure that you're not doing anything that your state considers to be the practice of medicine, therapy, what a physical therapist can do, what a nurse can do, all that kind of stuff, all those hover professions that are around you. And you can translate that to what you do. Essentially, we want to find out if your state doesn't define what you do. Like, I remember somebody here wrote to me about being a miscarriage and grief counselor. Now, obviously, no one is going to define that yet, unfortunately, in the States. And so instead we would be looking at is making sure a therapist, what is a therapist defined as doing? The idea is that then you can't do that, right? We can't do whatever the other hover professions are licensed as. Yeah, coaching is the wild, wild west out there. Yeah, and life coaching, same thing. Like with life coaching, we're checking about therapy. We are checking about making sure we're not acting as anyone's doctor. Like it depends what part of life coaching you do, but that's essentially what you need to do is make sure you're not doing anything that is defined and licensed in your state, right? Now, what's most important, and this is where most people get it wrong, is you need to do what you say and say what you do and nothing else. Because what most of the time, what people do is that they will say, people write to me all the time and they will say, don't worry about it. I have something in my contract that says I'm not their doctor. And so don't worry about it. I go out and do all these things, right? I go do all the stuff I'm not allowed to do. That's not how it works. Legal documents don't get you out of legal trouble if you do things outside of your scope of practice. Both of those things have to be true. So, yes, it's okay if you say, hey, I'm not your doctor. You should say that, of course, if you're doing anything in the health field. But you also then need to make sure you're not doing anything that only a doctor can do. Consistency is really important. Now, for those of you who are here, tell me yes, maybe in the comments. If you're here because you have a professional license like I do, whether you're a lawyer, a doctor, a nurse, a physical therapist, right? Yes, there are lots of people here who do. If you're trying to start a coaching business or sell online courses or sell digital products, your scope of practice becomes what a coach can do. So you don't get to borrow or rely on your professional license if that's the thing you want to protect, right? So protecting your license means not relying on it. You have to have essentially the same scope of practice as everybody else, right? Same as me. Okay, now let's review quickly. All right. You have just learned that you need to focus on where you're headed and not where you are right now when it comes to legal protection. Let me know in the comments in the chat which one of these was like the biggest and most helpful for you. We also learned about registering the right business entity and how that protects your personal assets and how the proper contracts and policies have to say what they need, must say what they need to protect you. We learn what your website needs to be legally protected and how to know what you can legally do and teach. We also know that you need legal protection before you think you're ready for it because you don't get backdated legal protection, and it's also part of what's going to help you to grow it. So I know that you're here today because you've tried DIYing the legal and financial stuff for your business, but now you just want a lawyer who knows online business to just tell you what you need. I also know you wish you could get the legal piece taken care of in one fell swoop. That way you can focus on doing what you love, because so many of you told me that in the beginning. I also know you want to stop relying on ChatGPT and Google as your pocket lawyer for info that you're not even sure makes any sense or is right, and you just want to get info you can rely on. Well, you're about to put all of that behind you. I'm very excited to tell you that you can say goodbye to sleepless nights because it is your time to stop hoping that the universe will protect your business just because you have good intentions. Because I know so many of you do, but that's not why you're here. It's time to stop the Google and cross my fingers charade for good. It's your time to get legally protected and stop looking over your shoulder, wondering if anybody will notice that you stole somebody else's privacy policy. It's your time to get legally protected with a proven step by step system. Now, this is not just possible for an attorney like me. My customers don't have any legal background or fancy skills for the most part. They just use my foolproof legal templates and system to legitimize their businesses. And if they can do it, you can too. All right. I've seen a lot of my customers are actually here in the comments, and so you can ask them. But the Ultimate Bundle is trusted by over 3,500 online business owners. And Ashley said it's the cheapest form of instant relief I have ever bought. Megan said, I can now openly talk about what I offer, knowing it is legally protected. Remember how in the beginning, so many of you told me you were so excited to be able to actually talk more about what you do because you feel comfortable doing it, right? Karen said, it's already saved me from a bad situation. And Fueling Financial Freedom said, this is the greatest investment I have made in my business so far. Today, I am inviting you to download all of the legal templates that I've talked about today and so many more. We'll go over them in a sec and the trainings that you need inside my signature program, my baby, the Ultimate Bundle. These templates and trainings are your next step to growing a successful business. Now, this is the exact program that you need to legitimize your business, stop stressing over the legal stuff, know that you're doing everything right, take the next steps in your business, get paid on time, and boldly grow the business of your dreams with the support of a lawyer who understands online business, because you're going to get that instant relief that you all asked for earlier, saying that that's really what you wanted, right? Haley said, I can't tell you how much relief I feel having these contracts and not the piece together contracts I've thrown together in place, as well as the website disclaimer, terms, and privacy policy. Thank you for creating this amazing resource for coaches and entrepreneurs. Courtney said, I bought the bundle and created my first legit coaching contract. Holy moly, the energy I had after this huge hurdle that I'd been avoiding became an easy step, and I felt like the coach I wanted to be. And wouldn't you know it, I got 2 more clients the next day. For the Ultimate Bundle, you get 14 downloadable fill in the blank style legal templates. They all take 15 minutes or less. 14 legal template video tutorials, because every single one comes with a how-to video tutorial, a screen share video with me walking you through it. 35 on-demand video lessons. I'm going to share a breakdown with you in a second. Lifetime of the program access. So I do not limit how long you have access to this thing. You can get in, you can download what you need. It is lifetime of the program access. Updated templates and training. So when I make an update to the contract templates themselves, for example, I upload those to the bundle and we send you an email and let you know, and that's never any additional cost for you. If I add a training to the bundle, you get that. You don't get any additional fee. You get access to a private member-only community with support from me and my team, exclusive access to additional workshops and Q&A sessions, a monthly member-only newsletter, and a big discount and bonuses that's coming right now that you only get access to you get a bigger discount for staying here. Okay. The 14 templates that are included, okay? The client contract that we talked about for all of those of you coaches and service providers, terms of use for courses, memberships, and digital products. You get all 3 website policies. So the website disclaimer, the privacy policy, and the terms and conditions. You get an independent contractor agreement. So you need to hire a VA or hire somebody for your team, or you're a contractor. You can use that as your contract. You get the group coaching contract for group coaching and masterminds. A mini disclaimer, that's what goes on your content. You get a shop policy for those of you who sell physical products, all right? You get the affiliate agreement. That's the agreement that you would create if you want to start an affiliate program for people to sell your stuff. A testimonial release and guide that you would send to your customers. A retreat contract in case you want to run any retreats or events. You can also use that for a live event. Copywriter contract for you to hire a copywriter, or if you are a copywriter, you can use that. And a social media manager contract. Same thing. If you want to hire a social media manager, you can use that. If you are a social media manager, you can use that. Plus, you'll get a how to video tutorial with each and every template to help fill it out in 15 minutes or less. It's a video of me walking you through it. So, let's break down what's inside the Ultimate Bundle video training library. Module number one teaches you how to form your business. This is where I break down in even more detail what an LLC is, what a sole prop is, whether you should get which one, how to form an LLC. I even do two in real time on video. And then I walk you through all the follow up steps, including EIN numbers, getting a business bank account, setting up payment gateways, blah, 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 all that kind of stuff. Um, Karuna asked a very good question of why someone's here if they're already in the bundle. A lot of my customers come here to watch me do a webinar, in all honesty. So that is why. Module number two, money and business insurance. This is where I teach you about making sure that you're handling money correctly in your business and that you get business insurance set up properly. It's also where I give you the questions that you can even take to a business insurance agent to ask them what you need to get in place. Module three is all about websites and social media. So, how to use your three website policies, how to build your email list, how to be GDPR compliant, which is something you're legally required to do, etc. Module four, I talk all about contracts, and really I talk about getting all of these things set up properly and making sure that they're enforceable, teaching you how to send and sign them correctly. Module five, I teach you about working with clients. So I have a training dedicated to every different kind of way to sell things online and what the most common like legal hiccups are that come up in those scenarios and how to navigate them. Module six, I teach you about copyrights and trademarks, how to get them when you need them. And module seven, I teach you about scaling and growing. I teach you about S Corps, setting up affiliate programs, and all that kind of stuff that comes with growing your business. So after getting the Ultimate Bundle, you will be able to quickly complete your contracts and website policies on the fly. You can confidently promote new products knowing you are protected. You can scale without fear and breathe easy knowing you've got legal help in your business's corner. Okay. And now, what you've all been waiting for, tons of bonuses and a very hefty discount for those of you who stuck around live. Now, bonus number one is that for the first time ever, I'm offering up to $500 off. If you purchase while we're here on this training, it will drop to $400 off once you leave. So you're going to lose $100 by clicking out of here. So you should be here for sure. There are many bonuses that are available for the next several days. So until this Wednesday, October 22nd at 11 p.m. Eastern, you can save $400 off the Ultimate Bundle. You can get a live group call with me. Oh, yeah, you can see this, Kate. You can get a live group call with me next month. So you can come to that live and get any questions answered that you have. You get 3 additional legal templates added to your template pack, a non-disclosure agreement, a podcast guest contract, and a collaboration agreement. You get that $400 off, as I mentioned. You get a special video training called How I File My Trademarks. I actually go through and file a trademark in real time on the training. Same thing with copyrights. I do the same thing. And then you'll also get the Business Owner's Guide to Taxes. It's a secret podcast episode all about what you need to know as a small online business with taxes. This is a business expense. If you asked your attorney to draft all of these templates for you, plus spend hours and hours training you to cover every step of legally establishing your business, you would be looking at easily a $12,000 price tag. Okay. And by tonight, you could easily have a legit client contract, learn how to form your business, or tackle any other legal question that you have, like lickety split. I know you can grow a strong and stable business once you've got the legal foundation that the Ultimate Bundle will give you. But I also understand that you might have some doubts. So you might be thinking, like, I don't know if I need to get legal stuff in place yet. Simone thought that too. And she said, when I signed up for the bundle, which is worth every penny, by the way, it was like this guiding light that was able to light my path and I was able to walk down it. I have all the things for my website to keep me solid. And I also learned lots of great stuff about owning an online coaching business. You cannot not afford to get Sam's bundle. It has everything you need to get started in your business and protect yourself as your business grows. Stephanie also said, at least once a month, I refer the Ultimate Bundle to someone. I'm super grateful I invested in it. The bundle is the best out there right now for anyone that has an online business. Now, you might also be wondering, can I just do this on my own, like piece it together? Molly said, you can knock this stuff out easily. I set up my AIN. LLC, and mailing address today. Thanks for making this so easy. Lynn said, I cannot thank you enough for helping to greatly simplify this process. We feel super confident and empowered. Now, we talked about this earlier, but can legal stuff actually help you to grow your business? Well, Amy said when it came to starting my own business, I could not take the steps I needed to. Why? Because the fear of not following the right steps, not being legally protected, screwing up in something I did or said, or having someone know who I am, I felt like I should be in hiding. Well, not anymore because I purchased the ultimate bundle and followed the step by steps, and now I have my business and my website up and running. I feel at ease and I have a sense of confidence I haven't felt in a really long time. Elizabeth, the legal templates email pack that you can add at checkout is optional. It's 3 email templates, like literally you copy and paste them and use them as emails. One is to get people to pay you. So if someone owes you money, you can get that. Another is for people who might be copying your content. And the third is for GDPR compliance, which you're legally required to have. So those are just 3 fill in the blank email templates. They're not legal templates. So that you can add on at checkout if you want. No, I don't sell how to legally share other people's content a la carte. It's included as a bonus for those of you who pay the pay in full. So now, what if 2 years from now, business changes, online stuff changes? Will your business still be covered then? Brittany said the ultimate bundle is everything you need and no question worth the startup cost, although the extended payment plan was incredibly helpful for a new business owner. I find myself referring back to it over and over again. No need to use Google when you have Sam and her community. When we reached out to Brittany to ask if we could use this testimonial, she said, "This testimonial still rings true. I'm about to launch a new course and have it set on my calendar to get it legal and refer to the ultimate bundle this week." Right? Now, if you're wondering if my ultimate bundle is the best thing for you, or whether you should shop around, someone said, I actually bought from another person previously. The two don't even compare. I was never able to use hers because it was so boilerplate with no explanation of what anything meant. You've made the stuff I've been dreading so easy and understandable. Jenna said, I just met with a lawyer and she was stunned at how well set up I am. She said she's never seen someone coming to her already so well set up with disclaimers, knowledge about things, etc. That's because she bought the bundle. Whitney said, this might be the best investment aside from my business coach strategy session that I made this year. Linda said, the best legal bundle on the planet. Hashtag no joke. And Leah said, investing in the ultimate bundle has been the best move I've made. Having this community here to seek help and insight from is keeping me sane. Thank you, Sam. All right, now if you don't know whether this is something really your business needs, Nicole said it covers all the bases I was worried about with my small business, plus some. I'm more confident promoting my business and less worried about legal concerns. This has led to an increase in sales. It has saved me time and made me feel less anxious and worried. The only regret is that I have is that I didn't get it sooner. All right. I want to run through these really quickly. These are the common asked questions. Is the ultimate bundle for you if you haven't started your business yet? Yes, absolutely, because you can use the ultimate bundle to start your business and make sure you do it right. What if you've been operating for a while? Is it too late for you to get legal stuff now? No, it's never too late. You can get this stuff in place now. Okay, how quickly can I get the templates set up and start using them? Instantly. You can literally go in right now, download a contract, and 15 or 20 minutes from now, have a completed contract that you need. Will the ultimate bundle teach you how to register an LLC? Will it read a contract that you have to sign, teach you how to read a contract to sign, teach you how to hire, teach you how to set up an affiliate program and get business insurance? Yes, it will do all of those things. How is the bundle different from other legal template packs on on the market? There's nothing like the ultimate bundle. There never has been. This has been around for almost 8 years. There's over 4,000 people in it. It is the number one go-to product for online business owners to get this done. Okay, can I just learn this info for free on my own? No, you can't find this stuff. It doesn't exist and it's not right. It's not right what you find online. Why should you join the Ultimate Bundle now instead of in a month or two? Well, for one, all the bonuses and the discount, but two, it's because like what's going to be different in a month or two from now in terms of where you're at in your business. You're going to use this to move forward today. Yeah. Pamela said, it seems like the focus of your content is for course creators, not artisans. While the basics are the same, but in terms of conversation and ultimate bundle community and specifics, it seems like a tiny focus and paying for the whole bundle, but only benefiting a little bit. I would beg to differ, Pamela, that there is a shop policy and there are trainings inside the bundle. There are a lot of people in the bundle who are artisans and who sell physical products. The other thing is that in December, I am recording new videos for the Ultimate Bundle, and I have plans to add a section for artists, people who sell physical products. So you also have a lot coming to you with that. And because you get free updates, that's all included. So just something to consider. All right, cool. You're welcome, Angela. Thank you so much. Thank you all so much for being here. You're welcome, Elise. Thanks, Hetty. Thank you so much for all your good questions. Thanks for taking time out of your day. I really appreciate you being here and being part of my community. If the bundle is not right for you at this time, that's okay. What I ask from you is that you stick around, you keep getting my weekly emails. I have a weekly newsletter called Sam Sidebar that now that you signed up for this training, as long as you don't unsubscribe, you're going to start getting starting next Tuesday. My emails are awesome. 55,000 online entrepreneurs just like you get them every single Tuesday. They will help you to build your business and legally protect it. So make sure you stick around for those. Go over and listen to my podcast on your terms, wherever you listen to your podcast. Grab my book. When I start my business, I'll be happy wherever books are sold. There's plenty of resources around here for you. You are welcome in my community, whether you are a customer or not. I love you and appreciate you so much. So as the biggest thanks you can do for me is to stick around, consume the content, share it with a friend who you think it will help. So that really means so much to me. Thank you so much. Bye. Thanks so much for listening to the On Your Terms podcast. Make sure to follow on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you like to listen to podcasts. You can also check out all of our podcast episodes, show notes, links, and more at samvanderwielen.com/podcast. You can learn more about legally protecting your business and take my free legal workshop, 5 Steps to Legally Protect and Grow Your Online Business at samvanderwielen.com. And to stay connected and follow along, follow me on Instagram at samvanderwielen and send me a DM to say hi. Just remember that although I am an attorney, I am not your attorney, and I am not offering you legal advice in today's episode. This episode and all of my episodes are informational and educational only. It is not a substitute for seeking out your own advice from your own lawyer. And please keep in mind that I can't offer you legal advice. I don't ever offer any legal services, but I think I offer some pretty good information.